Can we now invite respectfully the Country Director, Department for Business and Trade, British High Commission, Mr. Louis Arinaitwe. I think I got it right. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to take his seat here. Then we'll have Director Lagan, DOTT, Gerry Cawley. Gerry, please come and take your seat up here for us. The Director and LDNL Project Director, Andrew Bamanya, please resume, come and take up your position up here for us. Then I have Lars Peter Jensen, Area Manager, Colas Limited. Lars Peter Jensen, please come take your position up here for us. In this segment, we're going to have, first of all, a presentation. And we're going to look at, or the speaker will be outlining the UK export growth strategy, FDI in Uganda, and fostering long-term investment and economic growth. There will be a brief overview of guidance, assistance, and services to help British businesses grow and sell to Uganda, East Africa, and the whole of Africa as well. Definitely, there will be the advantages and disadvantages and hurdles of entering new markets. So let's have a clear and open mind, because that presentation is really going to help us. So with that, I will introduce my first speaker for this segment. And as I mentioned, he's the Country Director, Department for Business and Trade, British High Commission in Uganda, Mr. Louis Arinaitwe. Uncle Louis.
Is it still morning? Yes, hello to everybody, all protocol observed. Thank you very much for the previous panelists for opening up the session and giving us background on the Ugandan environment for investment. As my colleague said, my name is Louis Arinaitwe, and I am a Ugandan. I am the Country Director for the Department for Business and Trade, based at the British High Commission in Kampala, in Uganda. My role as the Country Director based in Uganda, that means I work for the British government. I am a civil servant employed by the British government, but a Ugandan. So I wear two hats, and that is to support investment and trade from the UK into Uganda. But as a Ugandan, I also have to ensure that it's the right investment for the country, it is the right opportunities, and it is for the best of the country. So briefly, my colleagues will introduce themselves. These are some of the British companies, that we have supported to enter the Ugandan market. And we do this in various ways. I could just talk through my presentation if this is not working, which is fine. Yes, okay. Hello, yes, so briefly, just a quick outline of who we are, what we do at the Department for Business and Trade, our mission and role in supporting UK companies to come and invest in Uganda, focusing on high-value campaigns and support to British companies. And then we shall have questions in case anybody has some questions and clarity. So at the Department for Business and Trade in Africa, Uganda is one of 21 markets out of 153 markets countrywide. So in Africa, we are based in 21 countries, in all East African countries, except Burundi. And so we have an East African-wide network under the department, and we work with our colleagues across to support identification of opportunities across the East African region. We have been focusing on a number of key areas. We identify with priorities for the government of Uganda as well as private sector in Uganda. And currently, major areas of focus Without leaving out the rest, we've been supporting especially agriculture and agriculture technology, infrastructure development, renewable energy, and health and education space. We also have a lot of interests and close sight on professional and financial services. We've had about discussions on labor and labor externalization, and we are also working with various sectors, government agencies and private sector, to identify opportunities in those areas and support British investment into the market in Uganda. Some of the success stories, I have my colleagues here. Gerry will talk about the Lagan Industrial Park, the Kampala Industrial and Business Park, that is being constructed by Lagan Group, with support from the UK Export Finance and the British government. We have also supported the solar power irrigation scheme with a UK company called Nexus Green. And we have also supported through Lagan, through Cawley, with which Lars will speak about, is an development of Kabalega International Airport. And we also work with private sector, where we have supported and worked together to link a UK-based agricultural technology exporter with a local Ugandan investor to set up agriculture processing, storage, and high-value equipment in the country. How do we support UK companies? We identify business opportunities in Uganda through both government and private sector, and work through our networks to identify the right UK partners to come and invest in Uganda. We organize business development visits and trade missions in various sectors to identify opportunities for both private and public sector. And we do this across the region, not just in Uganda. We also work to build strong networks with private sector in Uganda. We recently had an engagement with private sector-led companies in Uganda, and also private sector British companies that are operating in Uganda, to work together, link them together, form partnerships and joint ventures to identify the right opportunities for investment. We also have a wide network for Department of Business and Trade across the Africa continent and across in the UK, where we work together to link businesses, identify regional opportunities, and we also follow up on identification of market access barriers. That these are what we identify as some challenges in doing business, where we work with the government of Uganda, private sector. The previous panelists talked about, one of the panelists was from John, Uganda Revenue Authority, where the British government is working together with URA to support, provide training, provide the right, and make sure that the URA is very well trained and very ready to ensure that they provide the right environment for investors to come and invest in Uganda. So that is just in a nutshell what we do as a Department for Business and Trade. We are very keen to support UK private and government investment into Uganda. And we are very happy to help. And we will be looking forward to engagement with both UK private sector companies and also Ugandan businesses to make sure that we promote investment into the country of Uganda. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Gerry Cawley, and I'm a director with Lagan Group. And I just want to take the opportunity to congratulate Willie and his team for putting together this conference after quite a challenging conference last year, where because of the news at the time, everything had to be suspended. So it's nice to see everyone back again. And it's nice to see that it's still a success and that there is still a huge interest in Uganda. I'd also like to thank the delegates for bringing the Ugandan weather here to London, because we have had quite a miserable summer. So we've gone from being miserable to all baking alive. So it's a change. Lagan, as a company, looked around to expand its investment opportunities a number of years ago. And we looked at the East African area, And after some reviews, decided that given the stable environment that was there in Uganda, its prioritized projects, and its friendly and working environment, we took the view that this was somewhere we wanted to get involved in. So we've been involved with Uganda since about 2015. A lot of hard work in the earlier years, understanding the country, understanding the culture, understanding what were the priorities and how would we go about it. And invaluable to that was my colleague here, Andrew Bamanya, who will talk after me, as a regional director, who as a local Ugandan and living in Kampala, helped us find our way through all the various intricacies of the government, etc., to secure a project. And secure a project we did. In 2020, we started the Kampala Industrial Estate. It's a 2,200-acre site to the west of Kampala. You'll be familiar with it. It's an existing brownfield site, i.e. when we started, there was probably 50% occupancy of the site. And it was a working environment that we were asked to engage, go in and improve the infrastructure. And that improvement meant improving the roads, improving water and sewage, in building a sewage treatment plant, a waste transfer station, a small business enterprise park, telecommunications, and also ensuring that we delivered a high quality, state-of-the-art place that would market Kampala to the world. It is a project that has not been without its challenges. We were lucky in that with the support of the UKAF, we could bring some funding to the project, and that made it attractive because we could offer design, build, and finance. So for the government of Uganda, that was a very attractive offering. And at the time, interest rates were very good, so we could secure a very low interest rate that made it even more attractive. The project, as I say, has been ongoing for some time, and we are actually working through it at the moment, and it's beginning to come to a close. There's a bit of time to go yet, because, to be honest, it did have its challenges. Working in a live park with a lot of investors worried about any works being carried out affecting their business is difficult. We also had areas where we had to look after the locals who had settled in various plots and had to be compensated and retrained so that they didn't lose their livelihood. And so we had quite a complex livelihood restoration plan that dealt with those project-affected peoples. And that's been very successful. They have been there's been monitoring compensation, there's been financial training, and there's also been employment with our company as well. The park, as we develop it and continue to develop it, gets more active. The usership of it has moved from 50% at the moment to probably about 70 to 80%. And that continues to grow as we open more areas of the park and as we make it more acceptable that businessmen use the opportunity to start their business. And in one of the presentations that I had, but unfortunately we haven't had time to get it moving, we did a snapshot of the growth of businesses over the last number of years since we started. And it has been about 30% of the overall project. Another key feature that has been very important to us when we're developing this park is ensuring that the social and environmental needs are addressed. The park is 2,200 acres, as I say. It borders the Lake Victoria. It's got an element of the national forestry element of it as well. The river Namanve runs right through it. So it is actually quite a sensitive area as far as the environment is concerned. And the funders were especially concerned that all these issues were addressed. So before we even started the project, we had to do a detailed environmental, social, and environmental impact analysis. And that took 9 months before we stopped, which covered everything. It covered flora, fauna, aquatic life, and indeed, it covered the social issues as well as the health, as well as HIV awareness, and all those issues at relocation of people that had to be addressed. The vein of my life was a small snail that was about an inch, and that was last seen on the shores of Lake Victoria in 1951. One recorded instance of a snail, but there was a concern that it was out there somewhere along the shores of the river Namanve. We did a lot of searching. To date, we haven't found him, but maybe someday he'll come back. So we're progressing, and it's going well. It's great to see the park being utilised. We believe by the end of our activities, it will be a home to 250,000 jobs for the locals, and it hopefully will be a model for parks throughout Uganda, because I believe UIA are very keen to roll out these parks and see them utilised across Uganda. So that's a very quick run through the issues. I'm sure if there's any questions, we'll try and deal with them. If I could, before I pass, can I also just quickly thank our partners, DOTT. It's a combination of international Lagan and local partners, DOTT Services Limited. And it's a partnership that has worked very well, because again, they bring the local knowledge about dealing with all the issues of permitting, supplies, materials, etc. And we hopefully bring along the international experience to allow them to grow and expand within their own country. But it's been a very successful partnership, and we're delighted to be hitched with DOTT, and long may it continue. So I'll hand over to Andrew now, who may have some further comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. Andrew Bamanya, as my colleague has mentioned. I am the Regional Director for Lagan Group Limited, but also double as the Project Director for the Lagan DOTT Namanve Limited. Just like he has ended, we've partnered with our local company called DOTT Services, and the synergies between the two companies are seeing through the success construction of the Kampala Industrial Business Park. He has taken you through in general terms. I don't see any gaps left, apart from if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take those on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Lars Jensen, and I'm not working for Lagan. I'm working for Cawley, and of course in Uganda, the name for tarmac road is a Cawley's road. So we've been around for a long time. And this time around, we came in 2015 and identified a project that we decided to develop in collaboration with the Minister of Works and Transport in Uganda. And this was the construction of a second international airport in Hoima. And it started off being the Kabale International Airport. Then it became the Hoima International Airport. And recently it was named the Kabalega International Airport, which I think is, given that it's funded from substantially from the UK, is quite a paradox, because knowing the history of how the Kabalega fared, he spent many of his years fighting the British until he was eventually captured and sent into exile in the Seychelles, where he spent the last 20 years of his life before being allowed back. And he died reaching Jinja just before reaching home at Hoima. So it's quite interesting that the airport was named after him, which I think is very appropriate. We have been building the airport since 2018. It's a massive project. It's an international airport, 3.5 kilometers of runway. Fully international capability to handle large aircraft, the largest aircraft you can think about. The project is going to be completed hopefully this year. We have some discussion with the government still about some items that we consider would be required to make it a fully functional airport, like power supply and water supply. But we are discussing with Minister of Finance at the moment. So hopefully by the end of this year, there will be a fully functional airport at near Hoima. And this has been a very important project for Uganda and for the region as well. Gerry here talked about environmental and social issues. Of course, on the airport project, we have been from day one very aware of environmental and social issues. Our workforce has been 99% Ugandan, so my good friend Honorable Amonge here, she should be very, very pleased with us. We have never had more than about 1% expatriate workforce, so we're very proud of that. And of that, about 30% have been from the Hoima district, so we have excellent relations with the kingdom also. So as that project is coming to a close, we're looking at other projects. For several years now, we've been working with KCCA on a project to rehabilitate roads in Kampala. Now, all of you who are familiar with Kampala know that as soon as you hit Kampala, you hit a pothole. And some of the potholes can be very severe and cause damage to yourself and your car. So we have been developing this project with KCCA, and we are hoping that this will also be funded from the UK, substantially funded from the UK, Export Finance. And Lewis here has been very supportive in setting up meetings and making sure we have the engagements we need. So those are that's the latest project that we are working on. But I've been in Uganda now for over 7 years. I'm building a small house for myself there, and I'm locally engaged to a very beautiful Muganda. So I plan to stay, and hopefully we can get this new project underway. Thank you.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. And you know what? When you get to Africa, especially the eastern part of the continent, you wouldn't want to go back from where you came. Because the weather is good, lovely people, most importantly, the food. And when the environment is created for very conducive and rewarding investment. Definitely, 7 years is even short. You'll have to stay a lot more than that. Shall we please put our hands together for them? But just before we round up, I have, maybe Louis, you allow me, I have a question. What were some of the things that really attracted you to stay? And if I may ask, what really challenged you that probably made you think that, I want to go away?
What attracted me to stay was definitely the business environment is very accommodating. It's very flexible. It's very easy to live in Uganda, and you arrive at the passport control. And I've traveled a lot around Africa, but whenever you reach the Entebbe passport control, they always look at me with a smile and say, "You are most welcome back, sir." And that is a big difference. Other countries in Africa, they take your passport and tell you, you see that queue down there, 100 meters, you go and stand there, and then we'll call you when your visa is ready. But in Kampala and Uganda, everything is very friendly. There are, of course, challenges, and of course, Uganda is a poor country, and corruption is still a challenge that we are facing on many levels, and it takes time to. It takes time to develop projects, because as a UK company, we go strictly by the book. And I'm very happy that today there was a presentation from the IGG, and we fully support the initiatives. And things take time, and we are sure we'll get there eventually, and by the time we get there, we will be very proud that we have done things the right way. I don't know if that...
The capital of Uganda, Kampala is a city of over 4 million inhabitants with a high population density. The city has more than 2,000 kilometers of roads, but only 20% of these roads are paved, and only 5% are in good condition. The high traffic volume and poor condition of the city's infrastructure leads to numerous traffic jams, and indirectly to numerous economic losses. Every day, 240,000 working hours are lost by the city's active population. It has become essential to consider a vast project to rehabilitate roads and build bridges and access roads to improve the flow of traffic. Colas, in partnership with local contractors, is proposing a major project to transform the city of Kampala.
The project will transform Kampala by opening up the city through improved access, reduced congestion, and the roads will have proper sidewalks, drainage, street lights, and in some cases special lanes for buses and bicycles.
As a pioneer in the field of transport infrastructure, Colas has been building on its expertise and know-how for over 100 years. Our mission? To imagine and build innovative and responsible mobility solutions. This vast transformation project involves the rehabilitation of 200 kilometers of roads in 5 districts of the city: Central, Kawempe, Rubaga, Makindye, Nakawa. With the paving of approximately 800,000 tons of asphalt, including 100,000 cubic meters of recycled materials, the construction of a steel flyover at the Rosebery Junction, 3 pedestrian bridges, as well as the implementation of infrastructure for intelligent traffic management. Finally, the project includes the maintenance of these infrastructures, as well as the repair of the city's drains, the creation of pedestrian and cycle paths, and the planting of trees, for a total amount of €250 million. Attractive finance for the entire project will be provided through the UK Export Finance. This project is in line with our global CSR approach, ACT, based on 8 commitments, and the benefits for the local population are multiple. Between 450 and 550 locally recruited employees will benefit from training in line with our safety, quality, and operational management requirements.
And we expect more than 95% of our staff to be Ugandans.
Our group is also working to promote diversity and gender balance within our teams. Sustainable development and respect for the environment are also among our major commitments. Here, the use of innovative products, such as cold mix, is favoured to reduce our carbon footprint, and the recycling of materials is used as soon as possible in the production of new and replacement materials, both infrastructure and asphalt. Finally, this transformation project is accompanied by the renovation or creation of facilities to improve the living conditions of the population.
We expect the project to start end of this year if all goes well.
Our ambition for Kampala? A major transformation project to promote the economic development of the city and improve the living conditions of the population in a sustainable and responsible manner.
Well, thank you very much. Anything to add? Maybe I'll take a couple of questions. Then Honorable says, can I please use it? Thank you.
My name is Elias Mugisha. I have two questions, one going to Peter Lars and one going to DOTT and Lagan. Lars, I would like you to speak about the loss to GDP because of the productivity and delays in traffic. I know you've done a feasibility study, so I would like you to give us a picture of how much we're losing to GDP because of the poor roads. Secondly, I would like you to discuss on the Cawley airport. I am aware that the designs have been done, owned by the employer. I would like to give us some of the challenges that you've gone through where the advantages of a turnkey project and where the employer owns the designs. What are the challenges? Because I've had a number of complaints about where the employer owns the designs and where the contractor owns his own designs. Secondly, I would like to ask a question on Lagan. You formed a JV with a local contractor. What are the advantages? It's been a successful JV. Kindly give us some of your advantages that you've been able to pull up this.
Okay, I said a couple of questions. Obviously, he's asked three, so I'll take one more.
Thank you so much. My name is Martin Mozali, a member of Parliament in Parliament of Uganda. Basically, I want to commend the gentleman working with the UK trade for the many investments actually that we currently have in Uganda. As you can see, there is a Lagan DOTT that is handling the industrial park in Namanve. There is Cawley airport, but that's not enough. We still have so many challenges in our country. There are so many other areas where we need investors, and I'm happy for this kind of engagement that we are here basically to talk to the investors and to tell them that back home, the environment is very conducive, everything is okay. We've got institutions where you can have everything. We have UNBS, we have URSB, that is for registration of companies. UNBS is basically to approve your product. So therefore, and UIA, the Uganda Investment Authority, which basically gives you all that is there in terms of investment. Because we are giving out to what we would call investment packages that are good, tax holidays, incentives per se. We are giving out land to investors free. We are giving out tax holidays to investors. We are giving out tax holidays. So everything is good. Please, we just want to say, come home. There are a few challenges, as the investor has said it. Corruption is one of the challenges we still have, but we are managing it because we've come up with so many institutions basically to tackle this. So come and invest in Uganda. I thank you.
Well, just to announce that later on in the afternoon, we'll be having time with our legislators, and some of these things will be looked at, and your questions will be answered. Shall we, I'll be asking that we do the answers together. So quickly, let me find, yes, Honorable Sir, the last one.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for your remarks. I just had one question. Rwanda ranks 38 in the ease of doing business rankings, while Uganda is 116. What could Uganda do better?
I think Peter has just mentioned, and I think I must add my comment on it on King Kabalega, because I've studied the King Kabalega, and my classmate was King Solomon Iguru, who is the current king. But I know that Sir Tito Mini, the son of King Kabalega, he used to visit my father in Masindi at least once a year. So I have those links with the kings, and I must say that Uganda is a great country. Unfortunately, we had to leave, and our children are not prepared to go back because they support the local football team. For example, my son supports Leicester City, and he says, "Oh no, I don't want to settle in Africa." But we love the country, and it's a great country to invest. And I hope that many investors come to Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall we have some answers? There were a few questions on the floor talking about the GDP and the traffic situation. If you could pick that one up first.
Hello. Yes, thank you for that question on the Kampala Roads project. Now, why does it make sense to invest money in fixing the roads in Kampala? There are a number of reasons for that, and you may be aware of some of the reasons, and others perhaps might surprise you. But 65% of Uganda's GDP is generated in Kampala. 65%. The road network of Kampala is around 2,100 kilometers. Now, that is only about 1.5% of Uganda's road network. Yet that 1.5% of Uganda's road network carry over 60% of the vehicles in Uganda. So you see the huge disparity. And for years, I'm sorry to say, funding for maintenance and upgrading of roads in Kampala has been very, very lacking behind. So the poor roads in Kampala, only 20% of the roads in Kampala are in reasonable condition. That means that the cost of doing business in Kampala is disproportionately much higher than it ought to be for a capital city in Africa. So the delays, just the delays of sitting in endless traffic jams, and as the person putting the question alluded to, we have done the feasibility report now, and it is being reviewed by Minister of Finance. So every day it is estimated that 3 million man-hours, productive man-hours, are wasted in traffic in Kampala. Now, if you run a business out of some of the suburbs around Kampala, you will find it more and more difficult to run any kind of errands into and out of the city. Just a trip from Mukono to Kampala can take easily 2 hours. So if you have a delivery to make, you can only make one delivery a day. So it has been estimated both by the World Bank and other studies, and also KCCA themselves, that about 7% of Uganda's GDP is lost, which is equivalent to about $3 or $4 billion a year, is lost due to the poor roads in Kampala. So fixing roads in Kampala has a multiplier impact on the GDP of Uganda. So that's why this project ticks all the right boxes, and this project I'm hoping that we can make this project happen in the near future. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yes, Amandrew once again. Whereas I'm the regional director for Lagan, a British firm, I'm also a Ugandan who is in charge of the region. that is East Africa at large and Africa in terms of the markets. But as a Ugandan, the companies, the joint venture, two companies, Lagan Group and DOTT Services. So the synergies of the two companies have actually been the story behind the success of the joint venture. The local player, who is DOTT Services, has helped us understand the laws of the region, the culture on the ground, the local market in terms of potential, and the local stakeholders' engagements. On the international scene, Lagan has highly participated, and on that part I will let Gerry compliment on that.
Yeah, I think as Andrew was saying, having a local partner is essential when you're entering a new market, because we all can work our way through the systems, but having an understanding of the systems over the years, which DOTT had, makes that easier, and also understanding the local market. And it also came to the fore when we were enveloped in that strange time that was COVID, when everything seemed to shut down, and yet we wanted to continue. But it meant from our side, we had limited travel. In fact, I took a very strange journey to Uganda in the middle of COVID, and it really wasn't a apocalyptic world, because there was no one on the plane, very few on the airport, and I suddenly thought, have I dropped into a wormhole somewhere and gone somewhere else? So having a local partner there who could increase resources and continue to the project in difficult times was really a godsend and essential. From our point of view, and what DOTT get from us, is we have carried out projects around the globe. Lagan has worked on merely every corner of the globe, from the Caribbean to South America to the Pacific Islands to Hong Kong Airport. And so we have a grasp of how to deliver big projects, how to deliver them well, and how to ensure that the quality, health and safety issues, and the social and environmental issues are dealt with. And sometimes, and it's not belittling the local company, because a lot of companies are very, very well established, and I have to applaud Uganda for its higher standards across the country. We bring that extra dimension. Plus, we have that access to funding, which again helps secure projects, to be able to bring cheap funding to the country and enable the project to be progressed. So it's a nice marriage, a nice mix. Like every marriage, there's a few arguments now and again, but you get over them, and we continue on, and we will continue till the success of the project and in future projects as well. But before I leave this, and before we lose time to say it, I want to just say a couple of thanks to a number of people. The Evelyn Anite, the Minister for Finance, has been very, very supportive and very, very helpful in helping us to get through all these difficult challenges in the early days. UIA, with Robert, has been instrumental in helping us as well as all his team and his team on the ground who we interact every day. But more importantly, the people of Uganda yourself, because as Lars says, everywhere we go, we've had a friendly face. We have people that are willing to help us resolve the problems when we raise them. They may not be instant resolutions, but they're willing to go away, think, engage with us, and resolve the problems. And I think that's very, very important from an investor point of view, to know that he has the confidence that he's been listened to, and when he asks for something to be done, he or she, that it is looked at seriously and acted upon. So I congratulate the people of Uganda as well for making an open and welcoming environment.
Thank you very much. Just a little bit of highlight on some of the challenges in terms of doing business and what Uganda is doing to improve the business environment and make it easier and easier to invest and trade with Uganda. One of the major things that I know the government of Uganda with support also from the British government is to reduce the cost of doing business. And this is reducing the cost of energy, reducing the time spent in doing business, and that is the cost of transportation, and also the cost of raw materials, and making it easy for investors to come and invest with the Uganda Investment Authority, Uganda Revenue Authority, we have here, Uganda Registration Services Bureau, and all these are agencies that are currently being put under one roof to be able to ensure that when an investor walks into one door, he can be able to get registration, licensing, taxation registration, and all the necessary investment licenses that one would require. Improvement of efficiency, yes, I mentioned that, and also corruption, which has been a challenge. But I know we have a representative from the IGG's office. We also have some legislators here who are ensuring that the right laws are put in place and the right enforcement. We at the British High Commission, Department for Business and Trade, we are happy and pleased to continue to engage. I've had engagement with a number of British potential investors who have met here. I've met others also in Kampala. There is a lot of interest in investing and trading with Uganda. We are looking forward to continue to support you. It takes time, like Lars said. However, this is also to ensure that the right projects, the right financing, the right products, the right quality are all put in place to ensure that we get the best out of the business relationship between the United Kingdom and the government of Uganda and also private sector. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I just say one more thing? This is the man here. Now, British High Commission have been very instrumental for both Lars and ourselves.
Brian Kaboyo is my name, Mayor Hoima City. And indeed, I had the MD Housing Finance talk about opportunities. Hoima City is one of the fastest growing cities in Uganda, which is hosting the Albertine activities in the Albertine Graben. I want to encourage people interested in investing. As a city, we are ready to support, and all activities in the Albertine Graben in oil and gas. The Hoima City is the host, is the transaction city, so please take opportunity and come in the city. Anytime we are there to encourage and support you, whatever you need. As the mayor and the team in the city, we are ready to support. Thank you so much. And Housing Finance recently opened up a branch in Hoima City, and I was part of the team during the opening. Thank you, MD, for the work. Thank you so much.
By the way, I need to, before you leave, Honorable, call us if they're still here. They're building, coming up with an industrial park in Hoima that will be focusing on the petroleum products. So you need to exchange numbers and see how to make this happen.
I want to appreciate Colas because I've visited them. They are community encouraging. They work with the community. They support. They employ our people. I've visited time and again, and I've looked at their structure. Indeed, our people are playing a role in their company, and I want to appreciate them.
needs of the modern world.
SBC has cleaned for us a good room for learning computer. We have many computers and we are able to learn a lot.
To ensure that they are learning in a clean environment, we renovated their classrooms and toilets. Sports is an invaluable asset when it comes to bringing communities together, and that is why we love to play. SBC fosters the spirit of sports here in Hoima. SBC has facilitated schools and communities with kits and equipment for their netball and football teams. Look out for the next Ugandan champion. They might come from here.
By virtue of what we do here, we happen to be offering services to vulnerable children, those who have been abandoned, those who have lost their parents at birth. Most especially, SBC has come in to show their support toward what we are doing by making several contributions. They painted our pavement, veranda, burglar, and 5 pillars, painting our 3 bathrooms, the laundry, the toilet, the laundry and bathroom doors. We replaced some 4 flush toilet systems. They helped us with the floor tiles in 4 toilets and 3 bathrooms. They helped us with the renovation of the toilet veranda, a merry-go-round children game structure, and some toilet brushes, name it. So we are very, very grateful. And those contributions have made an impact. Our children felt very happy that they are loved even by people outside there. And they feel good that they are as useful as other children who have their parents, who have people around them. May God richly bless SBC.
Looking after one another is a cornerstone of community building, and looking after one another means taking care of health. Communities have had challenges in the past with few doctors and poor access to health facilities, leaving the people in desperate need of medical attention. SBC now sustains a troop of doctors from Israel who work with the community in Chiboga to provide much-needed medical service and transfer of knowledge to the people free of charge. In Hoima, we have renovated medical facilities and donated ambulance services, beds, and beddings to the local hospital.
We had issues with the bed capacity, but following SBC's donations, it has improved on our bed capacity, and currently we can be able to accommodate quite a number of mothers in our postnatal, and also can be able to deliver at least 2 mothers at one time. Previously, a mother would get some complication in the course of delivery, and we would struggle so much to look out for transport to be able to shift this mother to the next higher level. But following SBC's entry into our community, we've been able to benefit from that ambulance, and we are so much happy and excited in that regard.
Water is life. Clean and safe drinking water is critical to sustaining healthy
We used to have bad water. We used to use bad water like ponds and these valley dams. But since they came, they saw our problems. They got us some boreholes in our area. So on that aspect of health and sanitation, they got us some boreholes, so people now are enjoying good water from safe source of water. So that one has changed the life and the rest of people around the area.